What's up, Pixel Enemy? SoggyFlapjackes here, and welcome to another Battlefield 3 attachment guide. Today we're going to be analyzing and reviewing the bipod and how effective it can be on the battlefield. Now, before I get any flaming comments in the comment section below, I'm sorry to say that it's an inherent part of the bipod to be stationary and not be moving. If you can tell me how to run and gun with a bipod, please go ahead and do so, but I don't know how to. And I think that I was actually more effective on the battlefield while in a stationary position, prone, with ample cover and teammates at my back. Now, I'd like to break down that sentence because it's actually a very important sentence, and it's essentially very important to understand it in order to be successful with the bipod. The bipod, obviously, its only disadvantage, really, in my opinion, this is the bipod's only disadvantage, is the lack of mobility. When you set up that bipod, you can only look forward. And that is a very, very, very detrimental thing to your mobility. So it's really important to be communicating with your teammates and understanding different flanking routes and patterns and routes and other places that your enemies can shoot you from or knife you from in many instances, because if you don't understand those, you will be knifed in the back, and that's something that you don't want to have happen to you. So the bipod really revolves, in my opinion, around dominating the choke point. And in my opinion, Rush Game Mode on Domovan Peak or Operation Metro are perfect examples of utilizing choke points in defending. As you can see here, we're on our fourth and final base on Domovan Peak Rush Defense, and generally speaking, you're going to lose the game if you're on your fourth and final base, because the team have pushed you off of 3 bases already, and it's probably not looking good. But as you can see here, I feel like I played a quintessential role for my team, and I feel like I helped my team win while utilizing the bipod. Now, there are also bipods for sniper rifles, and I'm really going to hit more on bipods for LMGs. However, the thing that the bipod serves on sniper rifles is it primarily limits all idle sway, so you don't have to hold your breath when firing at extreme long ranges. Whether or not you should be shooting at extreme long ranges to begin with in Battlefield 3 is something that you can determine, but that is what the bipod serves to do. So essentially, it's the same idea with the sniper rifle. It limits your mobility, however, it greatly increases your accuracy and sway when you're not holding your breath. So let's talk about the LMG. So the LMG I'm using right now is the M240B, and I'm actually using the flash suppressor. And I think the flash suppressor and the extended mags are the two best attachments that fit and kind of are coherent with the bipod because they complement each other. And the way the flash suppressor complements the bipod is it is also a vertical recoil reducer, as you guys have seen or will see in my Battlefield 3 attachment guide of the flash suppressor. So essentially, I really limited my vertical recoil with the M240B to essentially make this a deadly laser gun. And the thing that the bipod does, honestly, for all LMGs, is it reduces the vertical recoil by 90%, which is an absolutely massive amount of vertical recoil reduction that you're having. Not only does it reduce it by 90%, but you can tack on the varied percentages of the flash suppressor recoil reduction, and you get an extremely, extremely manageable recoil on all weapons that you're using. Now, it is important to take into consideration that when using the flash suppressor, you will get more aim down sight spread. However, it's also important to understand that when using the bipod, that is going to be, if not negated, and way more improved, because the spread when using the bipod is close to none. The bipod essentially reduces all spread and all recoil to an absolute minimum. And it's also important to understand that when using most light machine guns, you won't be having that much horizontal recoil, so the most thing you have to worry about is vertical recoil. Now, there you saw a few seconds ago that I was heavily suppressed, and the bipod does experience a lot of suffering from the suppression effect in Battlefield 3. So I would recommend using a squad cover perk so that you can limit that suppression and maintain accuracy. Now, utilizing choke points with the bipod is where you're going to be most successful. So since your complete disadvantage is lack of mobility, understanding that if you can lock down one choke point where the enemy is facing you and not coming at you from numerous different flanks, well, you're probably going to be successful. Because if enemies are coming at you from numerous different flanks, the bipod is not the option for you. You need a more mobile play style that can help counteract and maneuver and kind of anticipate where your enemies are coming from. Now, in this case, I was anticipating that the enemies were coming down this corridor because they had to get to our BMCOM. Luckily, I was able to lock down this corridor and, in my opinion, help win the match for my team. So that's about all that I have to go over with the bipod for. Essentially, what you have to do is you have to communicate with your team so that they can provide ample cover on your flanks and rain down hell from your front-facing position, because that's essentially where the bipod does best. I would recommend going prone with the bipod because the bipod can only be deployed below chin level, So essentially, if you're going prone, you're going to be reducing your aim down sight spread to a minimum, and also you're going to be reducing the target that your enemy has to shoot at, because obviously a limited target provides you with, well, less chance to die because they can hit you with less bullets, but at the same time you want to maintain your angle of attack. So providing a good balance between having cover for yourself and also having an angle of attack on the enemy is also a balance that you kind of have to strike. So hopefully this cleared up any discrepancies of the bipod. Once again, I would recommend the extended mags attachment or the flash suppressor attachment, but I would also recommend a suppressor if you're trying to stay hidden. So yeah, that's about all I have to say for the bipod, guys. I'll leave the gameplay on so you can watch the tail end of it. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, please come check out my channel. And yeah, other than that, thank you for posting this pixel enemy, and I'll see you guys in episode 5. Thanks for watching. See you guys later. Bye.